the 2023 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, also the Biafran Heroes Remembrance Day. It is held annually on May 30th to commemorate and honor our heroes and heroines who died so we could survive, who stood up to demand for justice against the extermination of indigenous Biafrans. May 30th, 2023 is the 53rd commemoration for Biafran Armed Forces and the remembrance of all our heroes. I am Pointer, and I will be taking you through this podcast. From 1967 to 1970, the Biafran genocide was perpetrated by the Nigerian state in collaboration with Russia, Egypt, Britain, and the Arab League of Nations. Then Russia was still the USSR. The reason for this genocide is not via speculation. It was a known fact that the people of Biafra, that is the indigenous people of Biafra, indigenous Biafrans indeed, were attacked on purpose after the declaration of the Republic of Biafra by the then head of state, General Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, when he called for the sovereignty of the Republic of Biafra after the federal military government of Nigeria, headed by General Yakubu Gowon, reneged and dumped the agreement reached in Aburi, Ghana. According to the Magnarella 2001 to 2002, page 447, I quote, "If the government is quite unrepresentative and oppressive, the international community may recognize secession and independence as a legitimate claim." End of quote. Also, Article 27 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, that is the ICCPR, interprets the right to self-determination as protecting the right of indigenous peoples to preservation of their livelihood, culture, language, traditional practices or activities necessary for their survival and their customs. Not forgetting the United Nations Declaration, in which in its Article 5 covenanted that indigenous people have the right to maintain and strengthen their distinct political, legal, economic, social, and cultural institutions, while retaining their rights to participate fully, if they chose, in the political, economic, social, and cultural life of the state. Now, we beg to ask, before the amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914, were the people of Biafra not in existence? Were they not indigenous of their land? Didn't they have a distinct culture, a distinct language, a distinct tradition, and a distinct livelihood? Answers to that question are very obvious. But the Nigerian state, which is the Nigerian federal government, always chooses to ignore those questions and prefers to be violent against those clamoring or agitating for the right to self-determination or self-government after the genocide and the surrender of the Biafran army in 1970. No victor, no vanquished was declared by the Nigerian government, meaning they didn't have any victory and the indigenous Biafrans were not to be vanquished. But in reality, the Nigerian government declared themselves victors. And now, indigenous Biafrans are being vanquished all over the country, Nigeria. Recently, after the 2023 election, markets outside Biafra land are being shut down or burnt down or closed down simply because indigenous Biafrans outside their home state voted for their preferred candidate against the choice of those in their state of domicile. Let's also take a look at the political positions all occupied by every other indigenous people that makes up the state of Nigeria, purposely ignoring indigenous Biafrans. When we talk about indigenous Biafrans, we talk about the Igbos, the Ibibios, the Bankers, the Shekiris, the Domas. But most people have termed it an Igbo state, which I personally do not find as a problem. For those who know them, their people, come to their people. If we have the same cultural practices, it means we are one way or the other related to each other. Another war may be brewing while we remember our heroes of 1967 to 1970. I, on my own personal term, would like to demand for another dialogue which should be non-violent. Because if you deny the people or the indigenous people a referendum, you cannot deny them self-defense. I repeat, if you deny indigenous Biafrans referendum, you cannot deny them self-defense. Several prisoners of conscience are still being locked up in various correctional or prisons in Nigeria by the Nigerian government. Let's take a look at the leader of IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has been exonerated, who has been discharged and acquitted. But till date, after almost 16 months, he is still languishing in solitary confinement of the Nigerian Secret Service called the DSS. Today is the 15th of May, 2023. And the days keep counting. Benjamin Onwuka is still in prison and not even known if he's alive or not. A whole lot of them are still in prison. Those that are known, those that are unknown. Simply because they raised the flag of freedom. Simply because they spoke about freedom. Simply because they spoke about their right to self-determination, their right to thought, their right to their conscience, simply because they expressed it, simply because they said they want a sovereign state of Biafra. The purpose of self-determination or the urge for self-determination is not synonymous to the people of Biafra. We have those of Eritrea, Yugoslavia, South Sudan, and even Western Sahara, which is actively supported by the General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, the outgoing president of Nigeria. Then why is that of indigenous Biafran a headache or a problem to even the international community and those in the Nigerian government? I can't give a concrete answer to that. But we must understand that those who make peaceful change impossible makes violent revolution inevitable. As we mourn, as we remember our heroes who died so we shall survive, let us prepare ourselves. Let us be conscious. Let us be vigilant. For no one knows what shall happen tomorrow. Thank you as you listen. And watch out for the next podcast. God bless you.